Welcome to a Moment in Time podcast. I'm your host, Eric.
And I'm Freya.
So imagine you're digging a garden in your backyard, and your shovel just hits something hard.
Right, you assume it's a rock.
Exactly. You brush away the dirt, expecting a rock, but instead you find a footprint, a human footprint.
Except, well, it's like 3 feet long.
Right. It's massive.
Yeah.
And we are diving straight into that sort of historical whiplash today. We've got a huge stack of ancient texts and archaeological reports here.
We really do, yeah.
And our mission for you is to just unravel this ancient lore of giants. So we're going to connect the mysterious Nephilim, the epic hero Gilgamesh, and, the biblical giant Goliath.
Because these are not just like isolated myths. They are deeply interconnected stories that blend ancient literature with actual physical archaeological discoveries.
Yeah, and the root of this whole concept kind of sits right in Genesis 6, right? With a group called the Nephilim.
Exactly. The texts describe them as hybrid offspring, basically the result of divine beings, which are often called watchers, or sons of God mating with human women.
Which is just wild to think about.
It really is. And the Hebrew term Nephilim literally translates to fallen ones, or those who cause others to fall.
So it's essentially this ancient comic book origin story, but framed as anti-propaganda.
Right, totally.
I mean, instead of these hybrids being like noble protectors, they are a race of superpowered, morally corrupt beings.
Yeah, it was a way for ancient people to explain that oppressive, tyrannical rulers were not divinely appointed. They were fundamentally illegitimate, like a cosmic mistake.
And the psychological terror they inflicted was just as massive as their physical size, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, in Numbers 13.33, you have these Israelite spies returning from scouting Canaan, and they report seeing the Anakim.
Right, who descended from the Nephilim.
Exactly. And the spies were so paralyzed by fear that they literally reported feeling like mere grasshoppers next to them.
Grasshoppers. I mean, if the Israelites were that terrified of these hybrids and saw them as cosmic mistakes, it makes you wonder how their neighbors saw them.
Oh, that is the fascinating part.
Because a massive divine human hybrid maps perfectly onto the heroes of other ancient cultures. Did rival nations see these same figures as monsters or as gods?
They saw them as absolute legends. I mean, take Gilgamesh, the king of Uruk.
Oh, right.
Mesopotamian epic poetry describes him as 2/3 god and 1/3 man. And we even have a later Hittite edit of the text.
Like a revised edition?
Yeah, a revised edition that circulated in the ancient world. And it gives his specific measurements. It claims he was 11 cubits tall.
Wait, really? How tall is that?
That is over 16 feet tall, with a chest that was 9 cubits wide.
Wow. See, I was looking through our notes on the Book of Giants, which is found among the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Oh, yeah. The Book of Giants is key here.
Right, because it explicitly lists Gilgamesh by name as one of the giant demonic offspring of the Watchers.
Exactly.
But hold on, does that mean the Hebrew scribes literally believed Gilgamesh was a demon walking around? Or was this purely like ancient political smear tactics?
It is a brilliant example of theological subversion. I mean, the scribes were taking their neighboring culture's most glorious, towering heroes and weaponizing their own mythology against them.
Ah, I see.
By categorizing Gilgamesh as a Nephilim, they were telling their own people that the massive king the Sumerians worshipped was actually just a corrupt, illegitimate product of fallen angels.
That makes a lot of sense. But that kind of psychological warfare only works if the people have some reason to believe these terrifying giants exist in physical reality.
Right, you need some grain of truth.
So how did these narratives endure for centuries? I mean, let's look at Goliath of Gath.
Well, recent excavations at Tel Es-Safi, which is the site of biblical Gath, provide some striking context for that.
Yeah, the archaeology here is crazy.
It really is. Archaeologists have been digging through the 9th and 10th centuries BCE, but when they went deeper into an older 11th century BCE Philistine layer, the architecture just changed dramatically.
Change how?
They uncovered Cyclopean stones. So these are massive, irregular limestone boulders fitted together without mortar. And they formed walls that were literally twice as thick as normal cities in the area.
Oh, wow. It's like walking up to a real-world Jurassic Park gate.
Yes, exactly.
If you're a nomadic, ancient person standing in front of fortifications built with massive boulders on that scale, you are naturally going to assume the people living inside are giants.
Oh, without a doubt. The architecture itself engineers the legend of Goliath.
Right.
But beyond the architecture, there is this really fascinating biological detail intertwined with Goliath's kin, the Rephaim.
The polydactylism, right?
Yes, they were associated with polydactylism. The book of 2 Samuel describes David's nephew fighting a giant who had 6 fingers on each hand and 6 toes on each foot.
Which is a real genetic anomaly.
It is. It often occurs in closely interbred, isolated communities. And ancient populations use those extra digits as a terrifying physical marker for these so-called giant bloodlines.
That really grounds the myth in this bizarre, tangible reality. So for you listening, I think the major takeaway of this deep dive is that the ancient world was universally captivated by big men.
Totally. They didn't just invent monsters out of thin air.
Right, they wove together genetic anomalies, massive architecture, and divine lineages to just make sense of the intimidating world around them.
Which leaves you with an important question to mull over.
What's that?
Were the Nephilim and giants strictly symbolic metaphors used to undermine tyrannical rulers?
Right.
Or could our ancestors' actual encounters with exceptionally tall, genetically unique, isolated clans have birthed a shared global mythology that still echoes today?
That is definitely something to think about the next time you're, out digging in the garden and you uncover a footprint that's just a little too big.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
That wraps it up for this deep dive. Thanks for watching A Moment in Time podcast.